Welcome back into Rose and Dennis Heindl Memorial Field in DuBois, Pennsylvania, as we continue through the 2019 USCAA Small College World Series. Two of the Final Four in the winners bracket have been determined, as number 5, St. Mary of the Woods College, and number 3, Mississippi University for Women have moved on. 2 more will be decided later tonight. This game is the 5th game. It'll be the number 7 seed Penn State Hazleton against the number 2 seed NHTI. I'm Zach Ziegler taking you through the action. NHTI, their first game of the tournament, and this is an offense that is not fooling around. As a team, they rank first in the USCAA in runs scored, doubles, home runs, and extra base hits. So this is a team that can hit the ball very well. They're led by Brianna Conley, hitting .458 with 34 RBIs this season. And get this, NHTI as a team outscoring opponents 217 to 72. The pitching staff has done a nice job helping that offense out. They have speed on the bases. Brianna Conley and Langevin combined to steal 24 bases. So this NHTI offense is dangerous. They're the highest seed in school history at the number 2 seed, led by 7th-year head coach Kerry Finnegan, and he has this offense ready to roll. Last year, NHTI was the number 4 seed. This year, getting the number 2 seed, coming off being named the Yankee Small College Conference champions earlier in the regular season. They beat Great Bay Community College 2-1 to earn that title, and are looking to bring that momentum into the USCAA Small College World Series. As for Penn State Hazleton, we saw them earlier today in the first game against Penn State Brandywine. They picked up a 9-1 win over the PSUAC champions to get here, and that was a big offensive attack early on for Hazleton. They scored 7 runs in the first inning. That came back at 10 a.m. They batted around, sent 11 hitters to the plate in that inning, including 3 straight RBI singles by Caitlin Ashelman, Cassie Pasamonte, and Jerica Shorba. That got it going. And a 2 RBI single from Kaylee Sutton with 2 outs made it 5-1. And then a 2 RBI single by Lexy Kessler made it 7-1. And they rolled with that through the rest of the game. They added an insurance run in the 4th and an insurance run in the 5th to close out that win. That got them to this first round matchup. Now a chance to try and upstate NHTI and get to the Final Four. This is a battle of 2 high potent offenses. So we'll see how this one goes. The pitching staffs are definitely going to be tasked in this one. For Penn State Hazleton, we're going to see Madison Clark taking the hill. Clark taking over for Varela, who pitched game 1. On the other side for NHTI, it'll be Taylor Gagnon looking to get things going for her squad as they try to get their first win in USCAA play. We're going to take a break. Lineups and the pitching matchup is coming up next on the pregame show for Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. We'll be back in a moment here on coverage of the game. We are back at the USCAA Small College World Series. Game 5 as number 7 Penn State Hazleton takes on number 2 NHTI. Time to look at today's starting lineups. First for Penn State Hazleton, they're going to lead off with their first baseman Jackie Hesse. Batting second in right field, Lexy Kessler. Hitting third, the designated player Sam Varela. Batting fourth in pitching, Madison Clark. Hitting fifth in left field, Caitlin Ashelman. Batting sixth behind the plate, Cassandra Pasamonte. Batting seventh, the shortstop Jerica Shorba. In the 8th spot in center field, Nicolette Kessler, and batting 9th and playing at second base is Kylie Sutton. The flex player today for Hazleton is third baseman number 20, Sadie Haney. On the mound, as we said, for Penn State Hazleton is going to be Madison Clark. Clark making her first start of the tournament, a record of 8-6, a 3.57 ERA in 88 2/3 innings, 107 hits, 65 runs, 45 earned, 45 walks, and 103 strikeouts. For NHTI, they'll lead off with their shortstop Olivia Langevin. Batting second and third base is Brianna Whitcomb. In the 3rd spot, center fielder Brianna Conley. Batting 4th and catching, Allison Brown. In the 5th spot at second base, Hannah Winship. In the 6th hole and left is Jordan Sargent. Batting 7th and pitching, Taylor Gagnon. Batting batting 8th. At first base, Cabrina Roy. And rounding out the lineup, batting 9th in right field, is Michaela Brown. In the circle for NHTI, as we said, is Taylor Gagnon. Gagnon, a record of 5-1 this season, a 3.14 ERA in 40 and a third innings of work. As we mentioned, these two offenses are highly potent for Penn State, Hazleton, and NHTI, so those two pitchers are going to be challenged here this evening. We're going to take a break as the national anthem about to be played here at Heindl Memorial Field, and we'll come back with the first pitch of Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series between NHTI and Penn State Hazleton. That comes up next here on coverage of the Small College World Series. We're back from Heindl Memorial Field in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series featuring number 7 Penn State Hazleton against number 2 NHTI. Just about ready for action as the NHTI links are out on the field. We'll take a look at the defensive alignment. In the outfield left to right, it's going to be Sargent, Connolly, and Brown. Left side of the infield held down by third baseman Brianna Whitcomb and shortstop Olivia Langevin. On the right side, second baseman Hannah Winship and first baseman Cabrina Roy. Behind the plate is Allison Brown. Catching today's starter, Taylor Gagnon. Gagnon, her numbers on the season, a record of 5-1, 1 save, 2 complete games in 40 1/3 innings of work. She has a 3.14 ERA, 39 hits allowed, 21 runs, 18 earned, 25 walks, and 26 strikeouts. And for Gagnon, facing a tough Penn State Hazleton lineup, a team that has hit the ball well. He saw it in that first game, bursting out for 7 runs in that first inning. And if they're going to have success here, they're going to look for a similarly fast start against a very good hitting NHTI team. We mentioned all the accolades for NHTI. They lead the USCAA in runs scored, doubles, hits. So it's going to be a tough contest for both of these pitchers today. It's going to be about who doesn't break here in this one. We're just about ready for action as the first baseman, Jackie Hesse, gets set to step in. Hesse on the season is hitting .343, no home runs, and 12 RBIs. It's been a full day here at day 1. We've had 4 exciting games so far. 2 more to go for you here tonight as we have NHTI and Hazleton. And then following this one, we'll have number 1 Cleary taking on number 8 Judson College. So Hess steps in. Gagnon looking to get things started on the circle for NHTI. She toes the circle, set, and the pitch. That one is outside, and we are underway. 1 ball and no strikes here on Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. The winner of this one takes on the Mississippi University for Women in the winner's bracket Final Four. The 1-0, and that one a called strike. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on the Hazleton first baseman. Started at first in the first game of the tournament for Hazleton earlier today. The 1-1. That one is a called strike. Count quickly. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out. Top of the first. Gagnon set the 1-2. And that one is high and outside. Looked like it might have slipped out of Gagnon's hand, and the count evens at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. Gagnon toes the circle. Here's the pitch. This one grounded back up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. So Hess starts it off with a single, a short bobble out in center field there for NHTI, but Connolly able to get to it quickly. And a runner on with nobody out for Penn State Hazleton. It'll bring up the right fielder, Lexy Kessler. Kessler, a .394 hitter, no home runs, and 21 RBIs. Well, if you're Penn State Hazleton, this is how you draw it up early. You get the single from Hess. Looking for Kessler to get on for your big hitter, Varela. She waits on deck. And mentioned Hazleton, key to success, got to get out to an early lead against this NHTI team, make them play from behind. Gagnon toes the circle. Runner at first is Hess. Gagnon's pitch. Showing bunt is Kessler, gets it down, fielded by the third baseman, Whitcomb, on to first. That's in time for the out, but the sacrifice bunt works 5-3, and it'll bring to the plate the designated player, Sam Varela. Varela pitched in Game 1, now as the designated player here in Game 2. As a runner at second with 1 out, Varela on the season. A .436 hitter, 1 homer, and 13 homers, and 54 RBIs. Runner at second is Hess. Reached on the single, got up on the sac bunt. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. Varela takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. 1 away here in the top of the first. Hazleton, we mentioned 7 runs in the first inning in the 10 a.m. game against Penn State Brandywine, the 1-0. This one grounded to the left side and foul past the third base coaching box. Count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. NHTI, their highest seed in school history, grabbing the number 2 seed after winning the Yankee Small College Conference Championship. And Gagnon, the righty, toes the circle against the right-handed hitting Varela. Gagnon set, and the 1-1. That one a called strike, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gagnon changing speeds there. That one floats in. Varela doesn't offer. Runner at second is Hess. Gagnon set, the 1-2. Swinging a fly ball deep out to left field. Going back is Sargent, and this one hits off the wall. Hesse around third. She's going to score. It's an RBI double for Sam Varela. And Penn State Hazleton jumps out to the early 1-0 lead. That was a shot off the bat of Varela, the hardest hit ball we've seen from her in the 2 games today. Just hitting off the base of the wall as Sargent, couldn't get back there to corral it. So there's a runner at second now with 1 away, and it'll bring up the pitcher, Madison Clark. Clark, a .371 hitter, 1 homer, and 33 RBIs. So Varela at second, Hazleton out to the early 1-0 lead. Gagnon set the pitch. That one is outside for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes here on Clark. So the RBI double has Penn State Hazleton up early. Varela in that first game against Brandywine. This one's a called strike. Drove in 1 run. Count now even at 1. 1-1 is her second RBI of the tournament. Gagnon set. Here's the 1-1. That one, a called strike on the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Varela, the runner at second. 1-0. Penn State Hazleton leads over NHTI here in the top of the first. Gagnon set. Here's the 1-2. And that one is outside. Count now even at 2. Mentioned this is going to be a tough game for the starters today. Both very high potent offenses. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. She gets Clark on that one. Pitch on the inside. And there are now 2 outs and a runner at second. It'll bring up the left fielder, Caitlin Ashelman. Ashelman, a .404 hitter this season. 1 home run and 29 RBIs. So 2 away, top of the first, 1 run in the inning on the RBI double by Varela. She stands at second. Trying to add on against the number 2 seed in the tournament. The pitch. And that one is low and inside for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 here on Ashelman. Runner at second is Varela. Gagnon set. And the 1-0. This one lined down the left field line, but foul as it knocks off that wall that juts out, and the count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Hazleton, some hard hit balls off Gagnon early on. And the shot by Varela that was fair, the RBI double. And now that one, a foul ball, hit sharply down the left field line. Gagnon toes the circle. She's set. And the 1-1. That one's low and outside for a ball. The count now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1, 2 away, top of the first. We've seen 1 upset today. St. Mary of the Woods, the number 5 seed, upsetting the number 4 seed. In every other game, it's been the higher seed that's picked up the win. Meanwhile, the 2-1 hit in the left center. That's going to get down and go to the wall. Varela around third. She will score. Pulling into second is Ashelman, and it's a second RBI double in the inning. Penn State Hazleton now leads 2-0 here in the top of the first. Oh, they're doing just what they wanted to do, get out to that early lead just as they did in Game 1 against Penn State Brandywine. They lead 2-0 already here in the first, and it'll bring up the catcher, Cassandra Pasamonte. Pasamonte on the season, a .388 hitter, 1 homer, and 24 RBIs. So Hazleton getting things going here in the top of the first, making it as the number 7 seed in the tournament. They beat Penn State Brandywine earlier today. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. That one's outside, and the count goes to 1-0 on the catcher, Pasamonte. 1-0, 2 outs, and earlier today she had one of the hardest hit balls of the day, a hard hit single halfway up the center field wall. The 1-0, that one is a ball as well, and the count now goes to 2-0 on the Hazleton catcher. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. Ashelman, the runner at second. She just had that 2-out RBI double. Gagnon's 2-0. This one bounced foul off to the left, and the count now 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Runner at second is Ashelman.
We feel privileged being here to do it over the air.
Ashelman, the 2-out RBI double. Gagnon set. Here's the 2-1. This one grounded to the left side. Once again, foul. Hits off the NHTI dugout. And the count now 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gagnon trying to keep it at a 2-run game. Another runner in scoring position here for Hazleton. They're trying to add on. Gagnon looks on. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a line drive to center field, and that'll get down. They're going to hold the runner Ashelman at third, so it's a 2-out single, and now there are runners at the corners for Penn State Hazleton. It'll bring up the shortstop, Jerica Chorba. Chorba on the season, a .303 hitter, 1 homer, and 18 RBIs. And Gagnon getting hit around here with 2 outs. The RBI double by Ashelman that made it 2-0. That one a single out to center. And Hazleton trying to keep adding on. This offense is very good, as we've seen in early on in their second game and in their first game of this tournament. And Chorba had some great defensive plays earlier in the day against Brandywine. A big double play that cut down a Brandywine threat. That was in the third. She also made a nice sliding stop in that game as well. Gagnon's pitch. That one a called strike. The count, no balls and 1 strike on the Hazleton shortstop. 0-1, 2 away, top of the first. The runner at third is Ashelman. At first, it's Pasamonte. Gagnon's 0-1. That one is low, blocked by the NHTI catcher Brown, and the count even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Gagnon drying off that softball. No rain right now. We had some rain earlier in the day. Gagnon set. And the 1-1. This one is fouled off back behind home plate off to the left, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Runners at the corners for Penn State Hazleton. They already lead 2-0 thanks to 2 RBI doubles in the inning, 1 by Varela, 1 by Ashelman. Gagnon looks on, and the 1-2. Swinging a bouncing ball back behind home plate and foul. The count remains 1-2. Chorba stays alive. Following a tough pitch back. Number 8 hitter is the only one who's changed for Penn State Hazleton from that first game. Nicolette Kessler, the center fielder. Gagnon's 1-2. Swinging a bouncing ball towards third. It'll be handled by the shortstop, Langevin. She throws on to second, and that ends things here in inning number 1. But not before Penn State Hazleton puts 2 runs on the board on 4 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 on. We head to the bottom of the first. Our score, Penn State Hazleton 2, NHTI coming to bat. We'll be back with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. Bottom of the first, Penn State Hazleton out to a 2-0 lead for their starter, Madison Clark. Here's the defense lined up behind her. In the outfield left to right, it'll be Ashelman, Kessler, and Lexy Kessler out and right. Left side of the infield held down by the third baseman, Sadie Haney, and the shortstop, Jerica Chorba. The right side by second baseman, Kylie Sutton, and first baseman, Jackie Hesse. Behind the plate is Cassandra Pasamonte catching Madison Clark. Clark 8-6 on the year, a .357 ERA, 88 2/3 innings of work, 107 hits, 65 runs, 45 of those earned, 45 walks, and 103 strikeouts in 88 2/3. So Clark, a big strikeout pitcher here against an NHTI offense that hits the ball very well. We mentioned it in the pregame. They lead the USCAA in runs scored, doubles, hits, and a bunch of other offensive categories. So this is going to be a tough test for Madison Clark. See how she handles it. Leading off for NHTI is Olivia Langevin, and she's hitting 600 in 105 at-bats, 63 for 105, 1 home run, and 29 RBIs. Team leader in batting average, reaching base at a 650 clip and slugging 743. Here's the pitch. That one is up and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So Clark falls behind the first batter she faces. NHTI looking to get those 2 runs back they gave up in the first. Here's Clark's 1-0. This one bounced towards third. Handled by Haney. Throw on to first is in the dirt, and Hesse unable to corral that one. So the leadoff man reaches for NHTI, E5, and it'll bring up the third baseman, Brianna Whitcomb. Whitcomb, a 404 hitter, 1 home run, and 23 RBIs. Looking at this NHTI offense, they have 6 hitters hitting over 400 this season. Clark set, here's the pitch. And that one is high for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Whitcomb. Leadoff batter reaches on the air. Clark set, here's the 1-0. This one grounded up the middle, and that's through for a base hit. So first 2 reach here for NHTI, an error and a single, and they're in business with first and second. It'll bring up the center fielder, Brianna Conley. Conley, a 459 hitter, 5 home runs, and 34 RBIs. So the first 2 reach here, 2-0. Penn State Hazleton leads right now. However, NHTI is threatening once again. So second is Langevin after the error. A single by Whitcomb puts the runner at first. Clark's pitch. That one is called a ball. 1 ball and no strikes here on Conley. 1-0 the count. We talked about both offenses very strong for these 2 teams. So Gagnon gave up 2 in the first. We'll see how Clark responds here in the bottom half. She's set. Here's the 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Conley, 34 RBIs, leads her team, has a runner in scoring position right now. A 1-1. That one is low for a ball. The count now goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Bottom first. NHTI, their first game of the tournament. Penn State Hazleton playing in their second game. Here's the 2-1. That one's a called strike, and the count now evens at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. 2 on for NHTI. Clark does have that strikeout ability, 103 strikeouts in 88 2/3. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. She gets Conley going after that one. That's the first out of the inning. So 1 out and 2 on for NHTI. It brings up the catcher, Allison Brown. Brown on the season. He's hitting .459, a homer, and 31 RBIs. So 1 away, bottom of the first, 2 on. Here's the pitch. And this one is lifted towards center. Going back on it is Nicolette Kessler. It's over her head. Rounding third is Langevin. She's going to score. Whitcomb will be waved to the plate. Here's the throw, and it's not in time. Between second and third is Brown, and she is back in there at second. A 2 RBI double for Allison Brown. And just like that, this game is tied 2-2 here in the bottom of the first. Brown ripped that one to center field over Nicolette Kessler's head. She was unable to get to it. That allows 2 runs to score. Brown was almost caught between second and third, but a good job being able to get back in there. It'll bring up the second baseman, Hannah Winship. Winship, a .459 hitter, 5 homers, and 48 RBIs. Here's Clark's pitch. This one is fouled back to the screen, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike here on Winship. 2-2 our score here in the bottom of the first between NHTI and Penn State Hazleton. NHTI still in business with a runner in scoring position. Clark set, and the 0-1. This one hit down the right field line. Going back is Lexy Kessler. She's not going to get it. It 1 hops the wall. Rounding third is Brown, and the throw will be cut off. It's an RBI double for Winship. Back-to-back doubles, and NHTI finds themselves up 3-2. Back-to-back hard-hit balls for NHTI, and that offense showing just how good it can be. In the first 5 batters, 3 have hits, 4 have reached. And the strikeout of Conley is the only out to this point. Jordan Sargent will step in. Here's the pitch from Clark. That one a called strike, and the count 0-1 here on the left fielder for NHTI. Sargent, a .386 hitter, 3 homers, 30 RBIs. Clark set. Here's the 0-1. This one is fouled back to the backstop, and the count becomes 0-2. Mentioned in the open the big run differential for NHTI. They're outscoring opponents 217 to 72 this season. So that offense puts up a lot of runs. A lot of those coming in the beginning of the year. They picked up their first 4 games, wins of 19-1, 16-4, 19-2, and 23-1. The 0-2, this one bounced foul off to the left of the third base coaching box, and the count remains 0-2. Those games came against Raritan Valley and Penn State Scranton, their first 2 series. Here's Clark's 0-2. Swing and a miss. So she gets her second strikeout of the inning. 2 outs now and a runner still at second. It'll bring up the pitcher, Taylor Gagnon. 3-2 NHTI leads here in the first. Gagnon, a .315 hitter, 1 home run and 20 RBI. Clark set. Here's the pitch. This one grounded to the left side and foul past the third base coaching box, and the count 0-1. It's a nice fielding play over there by NHTI coach Kerry Finnegan in his 7th season. He's had a couple of them hit over that way. He's been able to corral. Clark's 0-1. That one a called strike, and the count now 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes here on Gagnon. 2 outs, bottom first, 3-2 our score. 3 runs in the inning for NHTI. Clark's 0-2. Swinging a soft line drive back to the circle. Clark handles it, and that's good for the 3rd out. But not before NHTI gets 3 runs in the inning on 3 hits. There was 1 error and 1 left on. We head to the 2nd. Our score, NHTI 3, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. It's been offense galore early on as we head to the top of the 2nd, Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. And our score, NHTI, the number 2 seed, has 3. Number 7 seed, Penn State Hazleton, 2. Due up for Hazleton here in their half of the 2nd, 8, 9, and 1. Nicolette Kessler will step in to lead things off for the first pitch to her. And that one is ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Kessler. Kessler, her first at-bat of the tournament. She's a .312 hitter, no homers and 8 RBIs. The 1-0. This one is hit down the left field line, but it'll hook foul, bouncing right before the seats. And the count now 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kessler. In Game 1 for Hazleton, we saw... Nikki Kessler was in the game for Game 1. So 1-1. Nobody out. Gagnon looking in. Here's the 1-1. And that one up and in as Kessler gets out of the way. And the count now to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Kessler trying to get on to lead things off in the 2nd. Here's the 2-1. That one high for a ball. And the count now 3 balls and 1 strike. Gagnon falling behind the first batter here in the 2nd. After her team got her the lead, she gave 2 runs in the 1st. Her team followed with 3 of their own. Here's the pitch. This one is line foul off to the left, gets over the NHTI dugout, and the count now goes full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, top of the second. 3 runs from 3 hits for NHTI, 2 runs, 4 hits, and an error for Hazleton. Gagnon set to 3-2. And that one is a called strike 3. So Kessler goes down looking. That's the second strikeout for Gagnon, and it'll bring up the second baseman, Kylie Sutton. Sutton on the season, a .317 hitter, no homers, and 13 RBI. So 1 away in the top of the second. Leadoff batter retired for the first time in this game. First pitch, that one is high and outside for a ball. The count 1-0 on Sutton. 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. 3-2 our score. NHTI leads. Gagnon's 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike for Gagnon in 40 1/3 innings. 26 strikeouts, 25 walks. Here's the 1-1. That one up and outside for a ball. The count now 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Gagnon looking for a clean inning after her team gave her the lead. She's setting the 2-1. That one's outside. No, called strike, and the count evens at 2. 2-2. 1 away here in the top of the second. Gagnon's 2-2. This one is bounce foul back behind the plate. The count remains even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Top of the second. 3-2 NHTI leads the number 2 seed in the tournament. The winner will go on to face the Mississippi University for women tomorrow afternoon. Gagnon looks on, and the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Gagnon, nice change up there. 2 strikeouts to start things in the second, and it'll bring up the first baseman, Jackie Hesse. Hesse, 1 for 1, singled and scored a run in that first inning.
Excuse me, it's leadoff batter, first baseman, number 11, Jackie
Hesse in the earlier game ended up going 1 for 2 with a double, also walked. Gagnon set, here's the pitch. That one is outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Hesse. 2 up and 2 down for Hazleton in their half of the second as Gagnon gets back-to-back strikeouts to start things. Here's the 1-0. This one is bounced towards second. Fielded over there by Winship. Throw on to first. And that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 goes Hazleton here in their half of the second. We head to the bottom of the second. The score, NHTI 3, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more action from the USCAA Small College World Series. We're back from Heindl Memorial Field in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Bottom of the second of Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. It's number 2 NHTI 3, number 7 Penn State Hazleton 2. And stepping in to lead things off in the second for NHTI is the first baseman, Cabrina Roy. It's 8, 9, and 1 due up. Roy, Brown, and then back to the top of the lineup with Langevin here in inning number 2. And the Lynx put up 3 runs there in the bottom of the first, showing off that potent offense. They're going to look to keep it going here. As Cabrina Roy steps in to lead things off. Roy, a .364 hitter, 1 home run, and 12 RBI. So Clark looks in. Here's the pitch. This one is hit foul, backing off to the left. The count, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Roy. The number 8 hitter for NHTI. 12 RBIs on the year from that number 8 spot. Clark set. Here's the 0-1. This one is lifted towards shallow center. Now going back is Velez. She came in on it, and then went back. Kessler, excuse me, and she corrals that. That's going to go down for a double for Roy. So NHTI gets the leadoff batter on for the second straight inning, and will bring to the plate the right fielder, Michaela Brown. Byron, a 393 hitter, 2 homers, 8 RBIs. So Byron at the plate. Another runner on for NHTI. First time through the lineup, but the first 8 batters, 5 have reached, including 3 doubles, a single, and an error. Here's the pitch. That one is high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes here on the number 9 hitter, Byron. 1-0 the count. 3-2 NHTI leads. No outs, bottom second. Here's Clark's pitch. Showing bunt this time is Byron, but it goes foul back behind the plate, and the count even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Runner at second is Roy. Righty on righty matchup. Clark looking on. And the 1-1. That one low for a ball, and the count now moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. Clark looks on. Here's the 2-1. That one swung on a miss, and the count now even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Clark. Had 2 strikeouts in that first inning. Looking for another one here. Clark set the 2-2. That one's outside for a ball, and the count now fills at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, bottom of the second, 3-2 NHTI leads. 5th game of the day here from Heindl Memorial Field. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, and Clark gets Byron swinging. That's the first out here in the second. We'll go back to the top of the order. Olivia Langevin leading things off, 0 for 1. She reached on an error and scored a run back in the first. So runner still at second with 1 away. Clark set the pitch. This one is hit down the left field line. Giving chase is a left fielder, Ashelman, but that one will get into the seats foul, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the second, 3-2 NHTI leads over Penn State Hazleton. Clark looking on. Here's the 0-1. And Langevin showed bunt initially, and it's a called strike. Count now goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Second time through the lineup now for the Lynx. Clark set the 0-2. And that one low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pasamonte, a nice job of stopping that one from going to the backstop. Is able to keep that runner where she is at second. Clark set the 1-2. And that one's outside off the glove of Pasamonte, and this time the runner Roy moves up to third. So now a runner at third with 1 out for NHTI. Langevin will look to drive her in. Clark set, and the 2-2. Swing and a pop-up. Shallow right field. Coming on is Lexy Kessler. Makes the catch. Tagging from third is Roy, but a strong throw will hold her there. So it's a fly out for the second out of the inning. It'll bring up the third baseman, Brianna Whitcomb. Whitcomb 1 for 1. Singled and scored a run back in the first. So still 2 outs. Nice job by Lexy Kessler getting the ball in quickly and holding that runner where she is at third. So now Clark a chance to get out of it unscathed. Clark set. And the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count 0-1 on Whitcomb. No balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. The runner at third is Roy. She reached on the leadoff double and then moved to third on the pass ball. The 0-1. That one is low for a ball. The count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. 3-2 our score. Each team has 4 hits to this point. Here's the 1-1. That one a called strike, and the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 2 outs. 3-2 the score. Clark trying to keep NHTI off the board. NHTI trying to push a run across. The 1-2. This one is fouled back behind home plate, and the count remains 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 3-2 NHTI leads over Penn State Hazleton. Clark set, and the 1-2. This one is popped up on the infield. The second baseman, Sutton, is under it. She'll make the catch. That's good for out number 3. No runs in the inning for NHTI. 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the third. Our score, NHTI 3, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We head to the third from Heindl Memorial Field. 3-2 NHTI leads over Penn State Hazleton. Due up for Hazleton in their half of the third will be Lexy Kessler, Sam Varela, and Madison Clark. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Lexy Kessler will start things off. Sacrifice bunt, her first time in that 2-run top of the first for Hazleton. Gagnon looking on the pitch. That one a ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes on the right fielder for Hazleton. And Lexy Kessler, a big play keeping NHTI off the board there in that second. Had a strong throw in on a fly ball that kept the runner at third. The 1-0, that one's high. And the count now 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out. Top of the third. Gagnon looks on. Here's the 2-0 offering. That one a called strike, and the count now to 2-1. Gagnon, a 1-2-3 inning there in the second, including 2 strikeouts. She has 3 on the day. Her 2-1. That one is outside for a ball, and the count now 3-1 on the leadoff batter, Lexy Kessler. 3-1, nobody out. Top of the third. Gagnon's pitch. This one a short flare to third. Coming on is the third baseman, and she will make the catch. Whitcomb on that play. 1 up and 1 down for Hazleton in their half of the third, and it brings to the plate the designated player, Sam Varela. Varela, RBI double her first time, drove in the first run of the game for Hazleton. Gagnon looks on, and the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strikes here on Varela. 0-1, 1 away, top of the third. 3-2 our score. Both pitchers throwing up zeros there in the second. The 0-1. And that one is outside. The count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Gagnon toes the circle. And the pitch. Check swing, and she went around, says the home plate umpire. Count now 1-2 on Varela. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Varela, we saw her in the circle in the first game of this series for Hazleton. She went 5. You have 1 run, 2 hits, 5 walks, and 5 Ks. Meanwhile, she swings and misses at that one. Strike 3. So 2 outs now here in the third, and it'll bring up the pitcher, Madison Clark. Clark 0 for 1. She struck out swinging in the first. So 2 away here for Penn State Hazleton in the top of the third. They're down 1. Gagnon's pitch. Check swing, but Clark able to hold up and appeal down to the base umpire, and he says the same. Count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs, top of the third. 3-2 our score. Between NHTI and Penn State Hazleton, the 1-0. That one is outside for a ball, and the count now swells to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0, 2 away. Gagnon looks on, and the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count now 2-1. Gagnon in her sophomore season for NHTI. So there's an infielder, a pitcher, and a catcher for the Lynx. The 2-1. This one is bounce foul, and the count now evens at 2-2. Her 40 1/3 innings are third on the team behind Brianna Whitcomb and Kristen McKenzie. That 3.14 ERA is a team low. Gagnon's 2-2. That one outside for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gagnon went with that slow changeup. Couldn't find that outside part of the plate. 3-2, 2 away. And the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to short. Handled over there by Langevin. She throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 goes Hazleton in the third. We head to the bottom half. The score, NHTI 3, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We head to the bottom of the third from Heindl Memorial Field. Penn State Hazleton trailing NHTI 3-2. The Lynx got 3 runs in the first and were held off the board there in the second. Due up for them in the third will be 3, 4, and 5. Brianna Conley, Allison Brown, and Hannah Winship. Conley steps in. She's 0 for 1. Struck out back in inning number 1. And Clark, nice job of throwing up that 0 after giving up 3 in the first inning. Through 2 innings, she currently has 3 strikeouts and has not walked a batter. NHTI, the number 2 seed, as mentioned, the highest seed they've gotten in school history. Coming off becoming the Yankee Small College Conference champions. Clark looking on. Here's the pitch. This one is lifted towards center. Nikki Velez going back on it, and she'll make the catch for out number 1. 1 pitch and 1 away for NHTI in their half of the third. It'll bring up the catcher, Allison Brown. Brown 1 for 1, a 2 RBI double back in the first that got this NHTI offense started and tied the game at that point at 2-2 before the RBI double by Winship. So 1 out, bottom of the third, 3-2 the score. Clark looking on, and the pitch on the way. That one is low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 account here on the catcher for NHTI. Nobody on. Clark set the 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Since that first inning, both pitchers has settled in. Clark set the 1-1. This one is lined foul off to the right, back behind the seats, and the count now goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Clark retired the leadoff hitter for the first time to start this inning. She set the 1-2. That one outside for a ball, and the count now even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Righty on righty matchup, Clark against Brown. Clark set, here's the 2-2. That one off the plate as well, and the count now fills 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, 1 out, bottom of the third. 3-2 NHTI leads. Clark set, here's the pitch. This one is lined towards left center field, and that'll get down and go to the wall. Brown around first, heading to second, and she pulls in with her second double of the day, a 1-out double. And NHTI now has a runner in scoring position for their second baseman, Hannah Winship. Winship 1 for 1 and an RBI double following Brown's 2 RBI double back in inning number 1. 3-2 NHTI leads. For Brown, that are doubles number 14 and 15 on the year. Leads the team in that category. Looking in is Clark. Here's the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count 0-1 here on Winship. No balls, 1 strike and 1 out. Bottom of the third, 3-2 NHTI leads, but they're threatening again with a runner in scoring position. Clark's 0-1. This one line foul, backing off to the right, and the count now 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes and 1 out. 3-2. NHTI leads over Penn State Hazleton. Brown the runner at second after a fly out started the inning. Clark set the 0-2. Swing and a long fly ball down the right side. It'll land near the bleachers foul. And the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes and 1 out. NHTI trying to add on. Clark set, here's the 0-2. That one just off the plate, and the count now goes to 1-2. Pasamonte trying to bring that one back into the strike zone, but it's not enough, too far outside. Clark's 1-2. Called strike 3. Winship goes down looking, and that's the second out of the inning. Runner still at second. It'll bring up the left fielder, Jordan Sargent. Sargent, a .386 hitter, 3 home runs, and 30 RBIs. So 2 outs, bottom of the third, 3-2 our score. Here in the 5th game of the USCAA National Tournament. First pitch swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. That strikeout for Clark is number 4 on the day. Clark looks on. Here's the 0-1. And a check swing, but wisely lays off as that pitch was outside, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Bottom of the third, the appeal down to the base umpire, and he agrees that she did not swing. Runner at second is Allison Brown, doubled with 1 out before the strikeout. The 1-1. This one hit foul, backing off to the right. It'll get behind the seating area, and the count now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the third, Clark trying to keep NHTI off the board for a second straight inning. Here's the 1-2. This one lifted foul again, back behind the seating area, and the count remains 1-2. Battle here between Sargent and Clark. Brown the runner at second. Sargent toes the circle. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one hits her. That one off her thigh, so that's going to be another base runner for NHTI. Runners at first and second, and now Taylor Gagnon, the pitcher, will step in. Gagnon 0 for 1, lined out back in the first. So runners now at first and second, 2 away, bottom of the third. Clark in some trouble, trying to get out of it. Gagnon trying to help herself out. Clark set, here's the pitch. This one is lined towards center field, and that gets through. Brown rounding third, heading to the plate. The throw will be cut off. It's an RBI single by Gagnon, and NHTI extends their lead. They now lead 4-2. Gagnon just a roller up the middle, finds the hole. It allows Brown to come to score. Sargent stops at second, and there's still 2 on with 2 out. It'll bring up the first baseman, Cabrina Roy. Roy 1 for 1, doubled in her last at-bat. Looking in as Clark, here's the pitch. That one is outside for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes, and the number 8 hitter in the NHTI order. So 1 run in here in the bottom of the third. It's 4-2 NHTI. Clark set, and the 1-0. Swinging a soft ground ball to the right side, handled by Hesse, flips on to the second baseman covering, and that's in time for out number 3. But a run comes home for NHTI in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 left. We head to the 4th. Our score, it's NHTI 4, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage for the 2019 USCAA Small College World Series. We're back from Heindl Memorial Field in DuBois, Pennsylvania. We head to the top of the fourth, and the score NHTI 4, Penn State Hazleton 2 in this number 2, number 7 game, the first round of the USCAA Small College World Series. Find out the final four after this one's over. Stepping in for Penn State Hazleton will be 5, 6, and 7. Caitlin Ashelman leads off. She had an RBI double back in the first, driving in the second run of the game for Hazleton. It'll be Ashelman against Gagnon for NHTI. Gagnon set the pitch. That one high and outside for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. For Ashelman in that opening game, she ended up going 2 for 3 with 2 singles and an RBI. The pitch, that one swung on a miss, and the count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the fourth. Game 5 of 6 here on day 1. We'll have one more for you after this one. Number 1, Cleary, will take on number 8, Judson. The 1-1. That one is low for a ball. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count here on Gagnon. Ready matchup. Gagnon set. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This one is grounded to short. Handled over there by Langevin. Throws on to first, and that's good for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down for Hazleton in their half of the fourth. It'll bring up the catcher, Cassandra Passamonte. Passamonte 1 for 1, singled back in inning number 1. So 1 away, top of the fourth. 4-2 our score. NHTI leads Penn State Hazleton. Gagnon's been rolling ever since that first inning. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Here's the pitch. That one high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Gagnon has retired the last 8 batters she's faced. She's set. Here's the 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the fourth. 4-2 NHTI leads. She looks in, and the 1-1. This one grounded to the right side and past the second baseman Winship into right field. That's a base hit. So Passamonte reaches on her second hit of the day. Runner on with 1 out for Penn State Hazleton. That breaks the string of 8 straight retired for Gagnon. And it'll bring up the shortstop Jerica Shorba. Shorba 0 for 1. Reached on the fielder's choice back in inning number 1. So 1 away here in the top of the fourth. 4-2 our score. Day 1 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Had some rain delays earlier in the day that pushed things back here on day 1. Here's the pitch. That one's outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on the Penn State Hazleton shortstop. 1-0 the count. So we'll have one more game for you. Cleary and Judson coming up 20 minutes after this one. The 1-0. That one is high for a ball, 2-0. Snap throw down to first, and getting back in safely is Passamonte. 2-0 the count here on Shorba, the shortstop. Righty on righty matchup. Gagnon toes the circle, and the 2-0 pitch. That one a called strike, and the count now moves to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the fourth, 4-2 our score. Gagnon set the 2-1. That one outside for a ball, and the count now moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1, 1 away. Passamonte at first after the 1-out single. Gagnon in danger of putting another runner on. Gagnon set. Here's the 3-1. That one a called strike, and the count now fills 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Gagnon getting back into the count. Passamonte, the runner at first. Gagnon set. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss as she comes back to strike her out after falling behind 3-1. That's the second out here in the top of the fourth, and it brings up the center fielder, Nicolette Kessler. Kessler 0 for 1, struck out looking back in the second. So 2 away in the top of the fourth for Hazleton. Gagnon set the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Nicolette Kessler, number 8 hitter in the Hazleton order. Kessler early today was 0 for 3. The pitch, this one grounded to second. Winship will field, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. So no runs in the inning for Penn State Hazleton on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 4th. The score, it's NHTI 4, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage of the 2019 USCAA Small College World Series. We're back from Heindl Memorial Field, bottom of the 4th. NHTI, number 2 seed, leads the number 7 seed Penn State Hazleton 4-2 as they scored another run in the bottom of the 3rd, an RBI single by Taylor Gagnon. Due up for NHTI here in their half of the 4th, 9, 1, and 2. Michaela Byron, Olivia Langevin, and Brianna Whitcomb up for the Lynx. Michaela Byron stepping in. She's 0 for 1, struck out in her first at-bat back in inning number 2. So nobody out, bottom of the 4th. NHTI looking to add on to their 2-run lead. Gagnon has settled in on the mound, throwing up 3 straight zeros. Clark set, here's the pitch. Showing bunt is Byron, gets it down. It'll be fielded by Clark. Throw to first is not nearly going to be in time. Good job by Byron, hustling down the line. It's a leadoff single for the NHTI right fielder, and it'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Olivia Langevin. Langevin is 0 for 2, reached on an error and scored a run in the first, and then flew out in inning number 2. So Langevin to the plate. Lefty hitter against Clark, the righty thrower. Clark set, here's the pitch. That one is high for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Here on the shortstop for NHTI. Clark set, and the pitch. This one fouled back to the screen, and the count now evens at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs here in the 4th. For NHTI, they've been very successful. They've qualified for the Small College World Series in each of the last 6 seasons. 6 straight trips to this tournament. The 1-1. Showing bunt is Langevin, but pulls back and takes a strike anyways. The count 1-2. And now a snap throw to first goes down into right field, and that's going to allow the runner Byron to move up. So a late strike call there by the home plate umpire, and then an E2 on the throw down to first allows a runner at second now with nobody out. And Langevin now has a chance to drive a runner in with a runner at second. 1-2 the count. Nobody away in the 4th. Clark looks on, and the 1-2. That one outside, and the count now evens at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Langevin looking for her first hit in the tournament. Clark set the 2-2. That one is low for a ball, and the count now fills at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom 4. Clark set, and the 3-2. Swinging a bouncing ball to short. Handling it is the shortstop, Shorba. Throw on to first, gets away. Rounding third is Byron. She's going to score. Langevin gets into second, and NHTI now leads 5-2, taking advantage of the Hazleton error. It looked like it was going to be a good play there by Shorba, but the throw in the dirt unable to be handled. Langevin ends up at second. And that'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Whitcomb. It's going to go down as a hit and an error, so a single and an E6. Gets the runner up to second. And we'll go back to an error, so an E6. And Whitcomb to the plate. Here's the pitch. This one is lifted off to the right side. Pasamonte and Hesse giving chase, but that one hits off the awning. The count 0-1 on Whitcomb. So it's a 5-2 lead for NHTI. Still a runner in scoring position with nobody out. A chance for Whitcomb to keep things going. Looking in is Clark. She's set. Here's the 0-1. Showing bunt and getting it down is Whitcomb. Clark comes off the circle to field. Throw to first, and it's just in time to get the runner over there. So 1-3 on the putout. Meanwhile, moving up to third on the play is Langevin. So runner at third with one away. And bring the center fielder, Brianna Connolly. Connolly 0 for 2. Struck out back in the first and flew out in inning number 3. So 5-2 NHTI leads here in the bottom of the fourth. One run in the inning already. That coming home on the error. Clark set. Here's the pitch. This one grounded back to the circle. Clark fields, throws on to first. That's good for out number 2. And big out there as it holds the runner at third. So now 2 outs and a runner at third for the catcher, Allison Brown. Brown 2 for 2. She's doubled twice and driven in 2 runs here in this game for NHTI. So 2 outs, runner at third, NHTI up by 3. So corners playing even. The middle infielder's back and the outfield normal depth. Here's the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count 0-1 here on Brown. No balls, 1 strike, 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. 7 hits for the Lynx so far, 5 for the Lions. Here's the 0-1. This one is fouled back off to the right side. It caroms off the awning and almost lands back in foul territory. And the count now 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at third is Langevin. Clark set. Here's the 0-2. This one is popped up, foul off to the right. Hesse going over, and she'll make the catch in front of her own dugout. That ends things here in the fourth, but another run comes home for NHTI on 1 hit. There were 2 errors and 1 left on. We head to the fifth, and the score, NHTI 5, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We're on to the fifth here from Heindl Memorial Field. Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. It's currently NHTI 5, Penn State Hazleton 2. It'll be 9, 1, and 2 due up for Hazleton. Kylie Sutton, then Jackie Hesse, and Lexy Kessler for the Lions. It'll be Kylie Sutton leading things off. Sutton 0 for 1. Struck out back in inning number 2. That's her only at-bat of the day to this point. Gagnon's pitch. That one is a ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. You're on the batter, Sutton. Gagnon looks on. Here's the 1-0. That one a called strike this time, and the count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out for Penn State Hazleton. They've had their leadoff batter on in 1 of the innings to this point. Here's the 1-1. That one outside for a ball, and the count now 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, and nobody out. Top of the 5th, 5-2 the score. NHTI leads. Gagnon set. Here's the 2-1 offering. This one is bounced towards short, handled over there by Langevin, throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 down for Hazleton in their half of the 5th, and it'll bring up the first baseman, Jackie Hesse. Hesse 1 for 2, singled and scored in the first, and grounded out in the second. So 1 away for Hazleton in their half of the 5th. They're down 5-2. Gagnon looks on. Here's the pitch. That one is outside for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes here on Hesse. 1-0 the count, 1 away, top 5. 5-2 is the score. Gagnon set the 1-0, and that one is low for a ball. The count now 2-0 on Hesse. 2 balls, no strikes, and 1 out. Looking in is Gagnon. She's set. Here's the 2-0. That one is outside for a ball. The count now moves to 3-0 here on Hesse. So 3 balls, no strikes, and 1 out. Hesse trying to reach to get something started for Hazleton. Here's the 3-0. That one a called strike, and the count now 3-1. That one hitting the inside corner. Hesse was getting ready to head down to the first base bag, but she'll walk back. 3-1, 1 out, top 5. Gagnon set the pitch. And that one's inside for a ball, ball 4. So Hesse takes her walk. Runner at first in, 1 out. It'll bring up the right fielder, Lexy Kessler. Kessler 0 for 1, hit a sac bunt in the first, and then popped out in inning number 3. So 1 out, runner on here for Hazleton. For Gagnon, that's just her first walk of the day. This pitch grounded over to second, handled by Winship, goes to second for the lead runner, and that's the only out they'll get. So fielder's choice 4-6 on the put out there. Erases the runner heading to second, but a runner at first still with 2 away. And to bring up the designated player, Sam Varela. Varela is 1 for 2, RBI double back in the first, and struck out in inning number 3. So 2 away, top 5. 5-2 the score. Gagnon set the pitch. This one lifted foul and off to the right. That'll get over the Penn State Hazleton dugout, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike here on Varela. Trying to come through, the leading RBI hitter for Hazleton. The 0-1, swing and a miss, and the count now no balls and 2 strikes. Varela way out in front of that one, expecting something quicker. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And now they'll call time as the on-deck batter didn't have her helmet on. They want to make sure she gets that there. 0-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Gagnon gets Varela swinging, and that ends things here in the top half of the 5th. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 5th, and the score, NHTI 5, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We head to the bottom of the fifth from Heindl Memorial Field. Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. NHTI leads Penn State Hazleton 5-2. Due up for the Lynx. It'll be 5, 6, and 7. Hannah Winship, Jordan Sargent, and Taylor Gagnon set to lead things off against Madison Clark. Clark so far through 4 innings has given up 5 runs on 7 hits. However, her defense has been a little stiff behind her. 3 errors to this point. Here's the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike here on Winship. 0-1 the count. Clark has not walked a batter yet, but has hit someone. The 0-1. This one is fouled back off to the right, and the count now goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes here on the second baseman, Winship. NHTI leads 5-2. Here in the bottom half of the fifth. Clark set the 0-2. Swinging a bouncing ball towards second. It'll be handled there by Sutton. Throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down for NHTI in their half of the fifth. It'll bring up the left fielder, Jordan Sargent. Sargent 0 for 1, struck out in the first, and was hit by a pitch in inning number 3. So 1 out, bottom 5. NHTI still holding on to a 3-run lead. They scored 3 in the first and then 1 each in the third and fourth innings. Here's the pitch. That one is high for a ball. The count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes here on Sargent, the left fielder for NHTI. Clark looking on. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Clark throwing up 1-0 in this game. That was back in the second. Here's the 1-1. That one a called strike, and the count now moves to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. First hitter of the inning was retired on a ground out to second by Winship. Clark's 1-2. And a called strike 3. Jordan Sargent goes down looking. That's the second out here in the fifth, and it'll bring up the pitcher, Taylor Gagnon. Gagnon is 1 for 2, singled back in the third, drove in a run, and also lined out in inning number 1. So 2 away here in the bottom of the fifth. 5-2 NHTI leads. Clark looks on. Here's the pitch. That one is outside for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 here on Gagnon. Clark does not yet have a 1-2-3 inning in this game. She's set. Here's the 1-0. This one is popped up behind home plate. Pasamonte gives it a look, but it hits off our roof here in the press box and rolls back behind. Count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Clark set, and the 1-1. This one grounded to the left side and through for a base hit. A 2-out single for Gagnon. Her second hit of the day. She's now 2 for 3. And it'll bring up the first baseman, Cabrina Roy. Roy 1 for 2, doubled back in the second, and grounded out in inning number 3. So Roy at the plate, 2 outs. Penn State Hazleton down 5-2. Here in this winner brackets first round game. The winner plays number 3, Mississippi University for women. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss there by Roy. The count no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Runner at first is Gagnon. She reached on the single. Clark looks in. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a miss. Runner takes off for second. The throw down not nearly in time. Gagnon in there with a stolen base, and the count now 0-2 here on Roy. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Now a runner in scoring position for the NHTI first baseman. Clark looking on, and the 0-2. That one's low and outside for a ball, and the count now moves to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Runner at second is Gagnon, singled, her second hit of the day. Gagnon also has done very well on the mound since that first inning. The 1-2. Swinging a bouncing ball to first. Hesse is going to field, take it to the bag herself, and that's good for the final out. No runs in the inning for NHTI. 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the 6th. Our score, NHTI 5, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We head to the 6th here from Heindl Memorial Field in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Number 2 NHTI leads number 7 Penn State Hazleton 5-2 as we enter the 6th. Due up for Hazleton 4, 5, and 6. It'll be Madison Clark, Caitlin Ashelman, and Cassandra Pasamonte due up. Madison Clark will lead things off. 0 for 2 so far. Struck out back in the first and grounded out in inning number 3. So Clark will step in. Her team down by 3. They got to get some runs here. 2 more at-bats left for Hazleton as they try to come back in this one and upset NHTI. Gagnon looks on. Here's the pitch. That one way outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. We'll know the count, but Gagnon, since that first inning, has thrown up 4 straight zeros. Here's the 1-0. That one is softly rolled to the third baseman, handled over there by Whitcomb, throw on to first, and that's good for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down for Hazleton in the 6th, and it'll bring up the left fielder, Caitlin Ashelman. Ashelman 1 for 2, RBI double back in the first, and then grounded out in inning number 4. So 1 away here in the top of the 6th. Penn State Hazleton got the win earlier today against number 10 Brandywine. Would be a big upset if they can come back and win this one. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. This one is grounded hard over to short. Handled over there by Langevin, however. Throws on to first. And that's out number 2. So quickly 2 away here in the top of the 6th. And it'll bring up the catcher, Cassandra Pasamonte. Pasamonte, 2 singles for her on the day. Single back in the first. And then her last time up in the 4th. So 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Gagnon looking in. She's set. And the pitch. That one a ball high, and the count 1-0 on the Hazleton catcher. 1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs. Gagnon set, and the pitch. This one is grounded to short. Langevin once again will field, throws on to first, and that's good for out number 3. 1-2-3 goes Hazleton in their half of the 6th. We head to the bottom of the 6th, and the score still NHTI 5, Penn State Hazleton 2. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We head to the bottom of the sixth in Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Number 2, NHTI, leading number 7, Penn State Hazleton by the score of 5-2. NHTI looking to add on. They scored 3 runs in the first, a run in the third, and a run in the fourth, leading their current lead. Due up for them here in their half of the sixth will be 9, 1, and 2. Michaela Byron, Olivia Langevin, and Brianna Whitcomb due up for the lengths. Byron will step in to lead things off. She's 1 for 2, struck out back in the second, and singled and scored a run in inning number 4. Well, a 3-run lead for NHTI as they try to add some insurance here entering their final inning. Clark still on the mound for Hazleton. She's set. Here's the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike here on Byron. 0-1 the count, nobody out, bottom 6. Byron has reached base once today, also scored a run. Here's the 0-1. That one swung on and missed, and the count now no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on the right fielder for NHTI. NHTI showed their offensive muscles early on in this game, 3 in the first, then added on in the third and fourth innings. The pitch. This one is inside, and the count now 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the number 9 hitter. Clark looking on in the 1-2. And a check swing. She went around, says the home plate umpire, so she'll go down on strikes for the second time today. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. It'll bring it the shortstop, Olivia Langevin. Langevin is 0 for 3, reached on 2 errors and also flew out in this game. So 1 away, bottom 6. Clark set. Here's the pitch. This one is hit foul off to the left. It'll get back into the seats, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. 1 away for Clark. That was her 5th strikeout to start the bottom of the 6th. Got a 0 in the 5th inning after allowing runs in the 3rd and 4th. She's set. Here's the 0-1. This one lifted towards left center field. Over is Kessler, and she's not going to be able to get it. It's cut off before it hits the wall. Throw to second by Ashelman, but it's not in time. In there with a double is Langevin, so NHTI once again has a runner in scoring position in 1 out. Langevin's first hit of the tournament, and it brings up the third baseman, Brianna Whitcomb. Whitcomb is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the first, and then popped out in the second and grounded out in the 4th. 5-2 NHTI leads. They're looking to add on here in the 6th. Here's Clark's pitch. This one is grounded to short, handled over there by Chorba. Throw on to first is in time. Meanwhile, Langevin tries to move up, and the throw gets under the third baseman's glove. That's going to allow Langevin to score, and another run comes home for NHTI. They now lead 6-2. Heads up base running there by Langevin to go from second to third on that ground ball, and then comes home on the errant throw. So now a 6-2 lead and 2 outs for NHTI. And that'll bring Penn State Hazleton's head coach to the circle. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change as Clark is going to leave. We'll take a break. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. You're listening to coverage of the USCAA Small College World Series, currently in the bottom of the 6th. It's NHTI 6 and Penn State Hazleton 2. We're back in the bottom of the sixth, 2 away for NHTI. Nobody on. They lead 6-2, and the new pitcher for Penn State Hazleton is going to be Cassidy Lentz. Lentz on the year record of 2-1, a 6.31 ERA, and 11 1/3 innings of work, 23 hits allowed, 17 runs, 10 earned, 4 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Her first pitch to the catcher Allison Brown is a ball, or excuse me, Brianna Conley is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Conley at the plate, 2 outs. Bottom 6, 1 run already in. Here's the pitch. That one is a ball. Now the count goes to 2-0. Conley jumping out of the way of that one. Pitch that came inside. 2-0, 2 away. Here's Lentz 2-0. This one is lined softly to first, handled on a hop by Hesse. She'll take it to the bag herself, and that's good for out number 3. So 1 run in the inning for NHTI. On 1 hit, there was an error, and nobody left. We head to the 7th. Our score, NHTI 6, Penn State Hazleton 2. Last wraps for Hazleton as they try to get back in this one. We'll have you covered here at the USCAA Small College World Series. We're in the top of the 7th, Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. NHTI currently leads Penn State Hazleton 6-2. Due up for Hazleton in their last chance are 7, 8, and 9. Jerica Shorba, Nicolette Kessler, and Kylie Sutton. It'll be Shorba starting things off. She's 0 for 2 so far. Fielder's choice and a ground out to this point.
Sitting for Shorba will be number 13, Mackenzie Joy.
We have one more game for you later tonight. Number 1, Cleary takes on number 8, Judson. And we're going to have a pinch hitter here for Hazleton. It's not going to be Shorba. Hitting will be Mackenzie Joy. So Joy in to hit for Shorba, her first at-bat of the day. Just trying to get things started here in the 7th. Shorba ends 0 for 2. Gagnon looking on. Here's the pitch. That one is outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes here on Joy. 1-0 the count. Nobody out. Top 7. 6-2 the score. Gagnon's 1-0. That one is inside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. The count on the pinch hitter. Two and 0 the count. Nobody out. The pitch, that one grounded back up the middle, and that's a base hit for Joy. So Joy gets the top of the 7th started with a single, gives Hazleton some life, and it will bring up the center fielder, Nikki Kessler. Kessler 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground out so far. So single by Joy to start the inning. Joy, a .327 hitter coming into that at-bat, 2 homers, 14 RBIs. So that'll go up a tick. Brings to the plate Kessler. Hazleton needs 4 runs to tie this thing, 5 to take the lead as they try to extend this game. Gagnon's pitch. That one outside for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count, nobody out. Gagnon trying to finish out the complete game. Gagnon set the 1-0. That one is just outside for a ball. The count now 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out, top 7. Gagnon set, here's the pitch. This one is bounced back towards the circle. Gagnon will charge near the foul line. Throw on to first and not in time. Good hustle there by Kessler. Goes down as an infield single, and now there's 2 on with nobody out. And we're going to get a pinch hitter here for Penn State Hazleton.
First and second nobody out.
As it'll be Sky Esterly hitting for Sutton. So Sky Esterly taking over in the number 9 spot. 2 on, none out for Hazleton. They're starting to rally here. 6-2 is the score. Esterly on the season, a .268 hitter, no homers, and 3 RBI. So 6-2 is the score. 6 runs, 9 hits for NHTI, 2 runs, 7 hits, and 4 errors for Penn State Hazleton. So Esterly coming up in a big spot. 2 on, no outs. Gagnon set, and the pitch. That one outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Runner at second is Joy. At first is Kessler. Both singled. The 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out here in the 7th. Penn State Hazleton trying to capitalize. They've scored 2 in the first, and that's been it so far. Here's the pitch. This one bounced back to the circle. Gagnon plays it, throws to third for 1, and that's the only out they're going to get. So fielder's choice, 1-5 on the putout. There's still runners at first and second now with 1 away, and it'll bring up Jackie Hesse, the first baseman. Hesse is 1 for 2, singled and scored in the first, grounded out in the second, and walked in inning number 5. So 1 out. NHTI 2 outs away from moving on in the bracket. The pitch. This one lined out to left field, and coming on and not making the catch is Sargent. It falls in front of her and now gets by her towards the wall. Kessler rounds third. She'll score. Esterly to the plate. She will score as well. It's a 2 RBI double for Jackie Hesse, and just like that, it's a 6-4 game. Sargent had trouble playing it out there and left. That allows both runs to come home to score, and it brings up the right fielder, Lexy Kessler. Big opportunity now with her team down by 2. And that's going to bring out Finnegan, the NHTI coach, as he's going to have a conference with his pitcher, Gagnon. 6-4 our score as Penn State Hazleton is trying to get back into this game. They're down by 2. They need 2 more to be able to get back into this one. 9 hits for NHTI, 8 now for Hazleton. And they're getting to the good part of their lineup down by 2. The tying run is at the plate. The go-ahead run would be on deck. Hazleton trying to complete a big comeback as they look to possibly upset the number 2 seed. However, still some work to do. Kessler steps in. She's 0 for 2. A sac bunt in the first, pop out in the third, and a fielder's choice in inning number 5. Gagnon looking on, the right-hander against the lefty hitting Kessler. Gagnon set, and the pitch. That one's a called strike. No balls and 1 strike here on Kessler. 0-1 the count, 1 out, runner at second, 6-4 the score. Penn State Hazleton trails. Gagnon's 0-1. That one's high for a ball, and the count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kessler trying to find a way to get on here, get that tying run on base. Gagnon's 1-1. That one's outside for a ball. The count now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. Here on the batter, Kessler. Gagnon set, and the 2-1. This one a slow pop to short. It'll fall in. Langevin fields, and she's going to have no play. An infield single there for Kessler. Now the tying run is on with 1 away and brings up the designated player, Sam Varela. So Varela is at the plate. Represents the go-ahead run for Penn State Hazleton. A chance to drive in at least the tying run and keep this game alive. Gagnon looks in. Here's the pitch. That one a called strike, and the count 0 balls and 1 strike. 0-1 here on Varela. Gagnon set the 0-1. This one grounded to short. Langevin will field, throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. Meanwhile, the tying run moves into scoring position now. Runners at second and third, and it brings up the pitcher, Madison Clark. Clark is 0 for 3, strikeout and 2 groundouts so far. And maybe, yes, it will be Clark. The runner at third is Hesse. At second is Lexy Kessler. 6-4, NHTI leads. The tying run is standing at second base in the form of Lexy Kessler.
She's not pitching now, but she's re-entering for Lentz. Lentz can't go back out and pitch now. The starter went back.
So Clark re-entering the game after Lentz took over for her in the bottom half of the inning. Clark trying to come through. 2 outs. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. That one's low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. A battle here between two of the top offenses in this tournament. Hazleton and NHTI. Gagnon set. Here's the 1-0. This one grounded to third. Handled over there by Whitcomb. Throwing to first is under the glove of the first baseman. Hess is going to score. Kessler comes around, and we are tied at 6. Looked like that was going to end the game. The throw was low. First baseman unable to handle it. 2 runs come around to score, and it is now 6-6. It'll bring up the left fielder Caitlin Ashelman. 2 runs come home to score, and just like that, it's 6-6, and Hazleton a chance to take the lead here in the 7th. A throw in the dirt goes as an E5, and it's now 6-6. Gagnon set. Here's the pitch. This one grounded towards second. It'll be handled there by Winship. Throw on to first, and that ends the inning, but not before the damage is done. Penn State Hazleton rallies for 4 runs in the inning on 4 hits. There was an error and 1 left. We head to the bottom of the 7th, and the score, it's Penn State Hazleton 6, NHTI 6. We'll be back with more action from the USCAA Small College World Series in just a moment. We are back from Heindl Memorial Field. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and it's Penn State Hazleton 6, NHTI 6. Hazleton rallies for 4 runs in the top of the 7th to tie this game. 2 coming home on the big error by the NHTI third baseman, but a chance to redeem themselves in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Lynx. Allison Brown, Hannah Winship, and Jordan Sargent leading things off against the new pitcher, Sam Varela. We saw Varela earlier in the day in that first game. Varela, her stats in the year, 11-7 in 90 innings of work, a 3.58 ERA, has 1 save, 10 complete games, 91 hits allowed, 54 runs, 46 earned, 40 walks, and 74 strikeouts for Varela. So 6-6 our score. Bottom 7, NHTI has to look for a walk-off winner if they want to take this game and move on in the winner's bracket. Varela's done with her warm-up tosses. It'll bring up the catcher, Allison Brown. Brown is 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and a pop-out on the day. So 6-6 the score. Penn State Hazleton down 6-2 entering the 7th. They rallied for 4 runs to tie this at 6, and NHTI now a chance to respond. So Varela toes the circle. 74 strikeouts in 90 innings of work, does allow 91 hits. Varela set. And the pitch. That one a called strike, and Varela starts ahead. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Varela's pitch. This one is grounded to short, handled over there by the shortstop Chorba. Throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down for NHTI in their half of the 7th. It'll bring up the second baseman, Hannah Winship. Winship is 1 for 3. RBI double back in the first, struck out in the third, and grounded out in inning number 5. So 1 away, bottom of the 7th. Here's Varela's pitch. This one grounded towards the right side. Diving stop by Sutton. Flip to first, and what a play by Kylie Sutton. Wow. That was a heck of a play. Goes to her left, sprawls out, and makes a fantastic stop. And then the wherewithal to pitch it to first base for the out. 2 away, and it'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Jordan Sargent. Sargent in this game is 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a hit by pitch. The pitch, that one a called strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike. Hazleton trying to force extra innings here in Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Varela set. Here's the 0-1. Sargent swings and misses, and the count now 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Righty on righty matchup. Varela set. The 0-2 offering. Swinging a bouncer foul back behind home plate, and the count remains 0-2. Sargent staying alive. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. 6-6 our score. After a 4-run rally by Penn State, Hazleton in the top of the inning. Varela's 0-2. Just high for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sargent good wherewithal to hold off. 1-2. 2 outs. Bottom 7. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's outside for a ball, and the count now even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 6-6 the score. Penn State Hazleton against NHTI. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a foul ball back to the screen. Count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Day 1. We still have 1 more game for you. Judson and Cleary, the number 1 seed against the number 8 seed. That coming up 20 minutes after this one concludes. The 2-2 from Varela. Called strike 3, and Sargent goes down looking. That ends things here in the 7th. 1-2-3 goes NHTI, and we're going to extra innings. We head to the 8th. Our score, it's Penn State Hazleton 6, NHTI 6. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We are heading to extra innings in Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series between Penn State Hazleton and NHTI. Taylor Gagnon back out there for the 8th inning as she'll work against Hazleton. Due up are the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Cassandra Pasamonte. It'll be Jerica Chorba and Nicolette Kessler. The batters due up for Hazleton. So Gagnon on the circle for the 8th. 6-6 our score. We've gotten to this point because of a 4-run rally by Penn State Hazleton in the top half of the 7th to keep this game alive. We talked about these two offenses going back and forth, and Hazleton got down to their final out. Looked like they were over a ground ball to third, but an errant throw allowed 2 runs to score. That tied the game at 6. And now Passamonte to the plate. Gagnon looks in. She's set. Here's the pitch. That one's high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count as we start the top of the 8th. Extra innings here at the USCAA Small College World Series. Gagnon's 1-0. That one is low and inside for a ball. And the count now 2-0 here on the Hazleton catcher. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out. And they'll start the inning with a runner at second, as we see. Out there is Ashelman. The pitch. This one is lined towards left. Sargent comes on, it drops in. Ashelman will be held at third, so there are runners at the corners now, as they got the runner to start the inning at second. So they're now first and third with nobody away, and it'll bring to the plate Mackenzie Joy. Joy, the shortstop, so far 1 for 1, came in a pinch hit in the 7th. She singled in that one and then was thrown out on a fielder's choice. So Ashelman, the runner to start the inning at second. She moves up to third on that single. Now a runner at first is Passamonte. And there will be a pinch runner here, for a courtesy runner, for Passamonte. As Michaela Wildrick will run. So Wildrick running over at first. Runners are at the corners. 6-6 our score. And Joy trying to come through. So Gagnon looking in. Righty on righty matchup. Extra innings here in Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Next pitch, that one is outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 on and nobody out. At third is Ashelman. She started the inning as a courtesy runner. And at first is Wildrick. Next pitch. This one grounded out of left field line, a fair ball. Ashelman will score. Wildrick's going to be waved to the plate. And here comes, he's going to score. It's going to be a triple for Mackenzie Joy. A 2 RBI triple, and Penn State Hazleton has the lead 8-6 in the top of the 8th. A good piece of hitting there by Joy. Lines it down the right field line. It seemed like Sargent had some trouble handling it out there. And the throw in way too late. She gets in there with the triple. It's now 8-6. And it'll bring the center fielder Nikki Kessler to the plate. 8-6. Penn State Hazleton leads. They have fought all the way back. Gagnon set the pitch. That one outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. And if you're Hazleton, you want to keep adding on. This NHTI offense never out of a game. 8-6 the score. Penn State Hazleton leads. Gagnon looking in. The 1-0. That one is high and outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. The winner of this game goes on to take on the Mississippi University for women in the quarterfinals for the winner's bracket, the 2-0. This one is grounded foul past the third base coaching box, and the count now 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Extra innings here in Game 5 of the USCAA Small College World Series. The loser of this game goes on to take on the winner of the Penn State DuBois Carlo game in the loser bracket tomorrow. Gagnon in the circle. Has her sign and the 2-1. That one's up and in for a ball. The count now even at 2. 2 balls. Oh, sorry, ball 3. 3-1. Here's the pitch. This one is shallow, flare to short. And Langevin will handle that one for the first out. So 1 away, still a runner at third. Penn State Hazleton leads this one 8-6 over NHTI in extra innings. It'll bring up the second baseman, Kylie Sutton. Sutton re-enters the game after a pinch hit by Sky Esterly. Esterly reached on a fielder's choice and would score. The pitch. This one is bounced to third. It'll be handled over there by Whitcomb, and she's going to have no play over at first. Good hustle there by Sutton to reach, so Sutton gets her first hit of the day. And we'll go back to the top of the lineup. Jackie Hess steps in. Hess so far in this one is 2 for 3. Single, doubled, and walked so far in this game. The one away, top of the 8th. 2 runs have scored. It's 8-6. Penn State Hazleton over NHTI. The pitch. That one is high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes here on Hess. 1-0 the count. 1 away. Here in extra innings. Gagnon looks on. And the 1-0. That one a called strike, and the count now evens at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 8-6 the score here in the top of the 8th. Gagnon's 1-1. That one a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Runner at third is Joy. The runner at first is Sutton. The 1-2. And a foul ball back off to the right hits near the Hazleton on deck circle. So Hess stays alive. 1-2, 1 away. Here in the top of the 8th, 2 runs have scored on the 2 RBI triple by Mackenzie Joy. The pitch. And a short flare to right. That one's going to fall in. Coming home to score is Joy. They'll hold the runner Sutton at second. It's now 9-6. Penn State Hazleton leads on the single by Hess. Her third hit of the day. She drives in her first run. And it brings up the right fielder, Lexy Kessler. Kessler so far is 1 for 3. Sacrifice bunt, singled, and scored a run. So 1 away here in the top of the 8th. 3 runs have scored for Penn State Hazleton. It's now a 9-6 lead for the number 7 seed as they're trying to upset number 2 NHTI. NHTI had a 6-2 lead entering the 7th. Hazleton scored 4 in the top of the 7th and 3 here in the top of the 8th to take a 3-run lead. Now the meeting on the circle is over. 2 on, 1 out. At second is Sutton. Over at first is Hess, and Kessler at the plate. Hazleton will look to keep adding on, up 9-6 here in the top of the 8th. Gagnon's pitch. That one a called strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 here on Lexy Kessler. She tries to keep things going. 1 out in the top of the 8th. Gagnon's pitch. Kessler initially shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball, and the count now even at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Penn State Hazleton has scored 3 in the inning, 7 in the final 2 innings. The 1-1. And that one is a ball. The count now goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Top 8, 9-6. Hazleton leads. The 2-1. This one grounded back towards the middle. Handled by Gagnon. Throws to third, and they'll get the lead runner. So it goes fielder's choice, 1-5. Runner Sutton is thrown out trying to get to third. So still first and second with 2 outs. And it'll bring up the pitcher, Sam Varela. Varela so far in this game, 1 for 4. An RBI double back in the first. Has since struck out twice and grounded out. The 9-6 Hazleton leads. The pitch. That one a called strike, and the count 0-1. Varela came in to pitch the bottom of the 7th. Pitched a 1-2-3 inning against NHTI. Here's the 0-1. That one's inside for a ball. The count now evened at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 8th, 9-6 the score. Penn State Hazleton leads. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and fouled off right at home plate. The count now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. In the first extra inning game of the USCAA Small College World Series in 2019, the 1-2. That one outside for a ball, and the count now even at 2. 2-2, 2 outs. Top of the 8th, 9-6. Penn State Hazleton leads. The 2-2. And low for a ball. The count now fills at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 9-6. Hazleton leads. Still trying to add on. Gagnon and NHTI trying to stop it right here. Gagnon's 3-2. And that one's low, ball 4. It's a 2-out walk to Varela. That'll now load the bases for Penn State Hazleton and brings to the plate Madison Clark. Clark came in to play third, moved from pitcher to third base in that last inning. So she is now at third. So far, she's 0 for 4. Strikeout, 2 groundouts, and reached on an error. The pitch. And that one's low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Clark, the 9th batter of the inning for Penn State Hazleton. They lead 9-6. Or excuse me, 8th batter of the inning. Ashelman was the courtesy runner earlier. The 1-0. This one lined deep down the left field line, but it's hooking foul. Hits off the Pirates charity sign out there beyond the left field foul territory, and the count 1-1. At third is Hesse, at second Kessler, and at first is Varela. Madison Clark at the plate looking for her first hit of the day. The 1-1. This one lifted towards right. Giving chase is the right fielder, Byron, and she's not going to get there. It falls foul. And the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 8th, 9-6. Penn State Hazleton leads over NHTI, looking for the upset. Gagnon looks in, she's set. The 1-2. Swinging a ground ball off of Gagnon's ankle. Nice rebound there from the third baseman, but the main concern is Gagnon right now. That one hit her hard, and she is down in the circle. That is the final out as Whitcomb steps on the bag, and that ends things here in the top of the 8th, but Gagnon is being looked at by NHTI. She's going to try to get off herself, but in the inning, 3 runs for Penn State Hazleton on 4 hits. There were no errors and 3 left on. So while Gagnon is getting looked at here, we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Our score, Penn State Hazleton 9, NHTI 6. Back in a moment with more coverage from the USCAA Small College World Series. We're back from Heindl Memorial Field. The good news, Gagnon was able to walk off on her own power after taking that shot off of her shin. However, she will not continue as it'll be 7, 8, 9. Pinch hitter Maggie Daly is going to hit for Gagnon here in the 8th. And NHTI's got some work to do, down 9-6. They will have the runner on second to start the inning. That's Jordan Sargent out there. Varela set, here's the pitch. This one is swung on and missed. Count 0-1 on Daly. Varela, her second inning of relief, retired NHTI 1-2-3 in the 7th. Varela's 0-1. This one lifted foul back behind the seating area, and the count quickly 0-2 on Maggie Daly. No balls, 2 strikes, no outs, bottom 8. Daly hitting for Gagnon. Her numbers on the season: a .353 hitter, a homer, and 17 RBIs. This pitch grounded back to the circle. Varela will field, throw on to first. The return throw to third is not going to be in time, so the putout goes 1-3. And moving up to third on the play is Sargent, the courtesy runner, and it'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Cabrina Roy. Roy is 1 for 3, doubled back in the second, grounded out in the third, and grounded out in the 5th. Number 7 seed Penn State Hazleton trying to upset number 2 NHTI. Here's the pitch. That one is a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Roy. Varela trying to finish this one up and get Hazleton a 2-0 record here at the USCAA Small College World Series. The 1-0. This one lifted to left. Coming in is the left fielder, Ashelman. She'll make the catch, and that's good for out number 2. 2 away for NHTI, and they're half of the 8th. They're up to their last chance now, and it brings up the right fielder, Michaela Byron. Byron 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts, a single, and a run scored to this point. And we'll have a pinch hitter for Byron, as Kristen McKenzie will hit. So Kristen McKenzie coming up. Last chance for NHTI. They have a runner at third thanks to that courtesy runner in extra innings. Varela trying to finish this here. She's set. Here's the pitch. This one is swung on and foul tipped. The count, no balls and 1 strike on McKenzie. 0-1 the count. Penn State Hazleton trying to be an upset. Here's the 0-1. That one outside for a ball, and the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hazleton was down 6-2 entering the 7th. They rallied for 4 runs in the top of the 7th. 3 more in the top of the 8th have made it a 9-6 game. The 1-1. That one a called strike in the count 1-2. NHTI down to their final strike in this one. As Varela trying to close it out. She's set. And the 1-2. That one outside for a ball, and the count evens at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th, 9-6. Penn State Hazleton leads NHTI. The 2-2. Just high for a ball, and the count fills at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Sargent the runner at third. Varela's 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul ball. McKenzie stays alive. Count remains 3-2. We have 1 more game coming up for you on day 1 of the USCAA Small College World Series. Number 1 Cleary battles number 8 Judson. Varela set. The 3-2. That one's high and outside, ball 4. So a 2-out walk gives NHTI base runner. They have now runners at the corners. And it'll bring up the shortstop, Olivia Langevin. Langevin so far is 1 for 4. Has reached on 2 errors, flown out, and doubled. 9-6 our score. Penn State Hazleton leads. Here's the pitch. That one outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. And now it's NHTI trying to rally back. Down 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Extra innings from Heindl Memorial Field. Varela set the 1-0. Swing and a miss, and the count now evened at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Varela started the first game of the day trying to close out the last game for Hazleton. The 1-1. Just outside for a ball, and the count now 2-1. You're on the NHTI leadoff hitter. Langevin represents the tying run at the plate. The winning run is on deck. The pitch. This one grounded back to the circle. Varela fields, flips to first, and Penn State Hazleton is moving on. They have upset number 2 NHTI, and they will go on to face the Mississippi University of Women tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the winners bracket. A great effort from Hazleton today. They score 7 runs in the last 2 innings of this game. 4 in the 7th to tie it at 6, and then 3 in the 7th to take the 9-6 lead, and then Sam Varela finishing things off. They entered that 7th inning, as we say, down 6-2. There was a single by Mackenzie Joy to lead things off. Kessler singled, and then a fielder's choice had runners at first and second with 1 away. A double by Jackie Hentz brought home a run, and a single by Lexy Kessler would load the bases again with 1 out. A ground out would make it 2 outs, and then the big error allowed Madison Clark to reach. 2 runs scored. That made it 6-6, and then there in the 8th, they got the courtesy runner, a single from Cassandra Pasamonte, and a 2 RBI triple from Mackenzie Joy, the big hit in the inning. Jackie Hess added an RBI single, and that was enough as Penn State Hazleton upsets NHTI. NHTI heads to the losers bracket to take on the winner of Penn State DuBois and Carlo tomorrow afternoon. Well, we got one more game coming up for you on an exciting day 1 of the USCAA Small College World Series. A lot more action to come. We hope you stick with us as number 1 Cleary takes on number 8 Judson. That coming up in just about 20 minutes here on the coverage of the USCAA Small College World Series. I'm Zach Ziegler. Thank you for listening to Game 5, and we're getting you ready for Game 6 in just a little bit.